Okay, time for the Carcassi Etude. Probably the most challenging part of the audition overall, at least in my opinion. You'll be hearing me play at about half speed during this recording, which is where we want to practice at, but keep in mind that this is much slower than we will eventually get to. The recording I sent you guys is kind of the top end of that speed, so we're aiming for somewhere in the middle. The easiest way to get the notes down for this etude is through tab. I did link that for you. If you're comfortable reading tab, then that's the easiest way to get a good grasp on the notes. Ignore all the fancy extra symbols. We'll talk about that in the future. Right now, all that matters is the fingering and the frets that we're playing on. Most of this is in first position, so there isn't much stopping us from, reading it through the sheet music very easily. But again, if you could read tab and you understand that, that's just the fastest way to get that down. There are a few shifts in this piece, which I'll point out as we go, and I'll break down kind of the problem spots measure by measure as we play through it. So hopefully you have your music and can jot some of this down. Like I mentioned, the first few weeks playing this piece should be just super slow, remembering all that matters is to just get the notes and the rhythms. Ignore the dynamics and ignore the speed. Okay, so we're in the key of D minor. You'll notice a lot of C sharps, which is our leading tone. It's music theory stuff, but it's part of why the scales are D minor. While playing through the piece and just looking at the sheet music, you'll notice 4-note patterns and repeating rhythms. We just have E and 1, E and 2, E and 1, E and 2. Just keeps repeating back and forth. You get a flowing feel. It's almost like we're playing a duet in a sense that are just linking the two parts together. It also means that there isn't time to break throughout the piece. You'll notice not a single rest. It looks like there are rests, but if you actually put the two lines together, there are 0 parts where we have time to breathe besides the last note. Remember, you cannot audition with the tabs, so feel free to write numbers and positions into your music as I did. I don't even have as much as I plan on having, even by tomorrow. So please, please, please write in your music as we go through, especially the sections that we talk about today. Feel free to pause and come back to the different sections that we work on just so you get everything written in. Okay, so the very beginning, probably the easiest part of the piece. Those first 4 measures just repeat themselves later on. It kind of gets you prepared for how the whole thing is going to flow. Just make sure you're understanding the separation of the two lines. We have the top voice. And 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and right, and then the bottom voice, 1 E and 1 E and 2. Much more repetitive. You'll notice those kind of repeat different patterns throughout the whole piece, so get used to that. Next, look at measure 7. This is the first instance where we have actual shifting that can occur. One option is we see A, C sharp, high A, so you can use 2, 2, 5, but it makes a lot more sense to just shift up to second position, 1, 1, 0, 5. Also in position to just use 3 for the C sharp on the 4th fret, and then our first finger on E and A. Okay, now pickups to measure 11, probably one of the more difficult sections of the piece. We shift up to 3rd position because we have to get up to the 6th fret for that high B flat. All those notes we want to keep on the first string, 4, 3, 1, slide 1 down to F. B flat, A, G, F. And now we're in position for A, B flat, C, F. Okay, next section, pick up to measure 16. We have a similar line, but, kind of reverse. D, F, A. We have to stretch up to that 5th fret and then slide immediately back down to G sharp. So although it's not a full shift, we just do have to be aware of our pinky heading back down from the 5th fret to the 4th fret. If you look at measure 20, this is the first spot that we have 2 notes at the same time. This leads us back into the intro melody repeating itself. So pickups to measure 20. Then we're back into the intro. The last section to look out for in this piece is pickups to measure 25. This section is still leading in from our beginning melody stuff, but once we get to the end there, pickups to measure 25, F, E, D, E flat, we kind of modulate into G minor in a sense. Right, G, B flat, E flat, G, and then we go up to 3rd position. So this is a full shift. You want to bar that 1st fret because we are going to immediately have to jump up to the B flat. So you have B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, G, B flat, or fingers 1, 2, 1, 4. And then that bottom section, our pinky's already up on the B flat that we have to hold out. So we need to use our 3rd finger now for that low E flat in measure 26. E flat, G, 2nd finger. Then our 1st finger has to stretch down to the B flat, low B flat on the 3rd string. So really we would want it to be 4, 3, 1, but our pinky was just playing the high B flat, so it can't do that. Then once we get to measure 27, we reset back to 1st position and everything ends nice and easy.